Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival.
Israel and Iran have escalated war in the Middle East, setting multiple attacks overnight. The internet is breaking as major service providers go down, and the crypto market has dumped along with it. What's next for Bitcoin and altcoins? This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, AltcoinBuzzIO, and as always, not financial advice, and wish the best of luck in your crypto ventures. All right, good morning, guys. What a day it has been in the crypto markets. We pretty much did exactly what we didn't want to do, but a lot of this was caused by external factors like war currently going on in the Middle East and a lot of escalation overnight. At the same time, a lot of internet providers going down, which doesn't really have anything to do with the price necessarily, but a lot of things are just happening in the world. And so Bitcoin fell down below the level that we didn't want it to break through, which was this level around $106,000. We dumped down here overnight. We're starting to come back up towards $105,000 this morning, but we dumped to about $102,000 last night. And I believe this happened as well last year, where we got news like this going into the weekend. The market sold off, it then pumped a little bit, and then more news came on the illiquid weekend, and the market dumped again. And it's just a kind of a chop fest when this happens. So right now, I'd suggest overall don't trade any of these. I will be going over some levels to look for, but I think this weekend you don't want to be trading. You don't really want to be doing anything unless you're buying at discounted prices, spot for it to go up in the future. But I think what's going to happen is most likely we'll maybe continue up, and then more news headlines will come out over the weekend. We'll dump again, and then hopefully next week things will be resolved and we can continue higher. But usually when this happens, we have a dump, we have a pump, and then we have another dump, all within a couple of days as more headlines just keep coming out. And eventually we kind of move on from the headlines and the market can continue back up again. So I think that's most likely what will happen. So unfortunately, we fell back down into this range here between $106,000 and $100,000. Most likely, we come up somewhere like this towards 106, 107-ish thousand, and then we continue back down to the bottom of the range again. Is my most likely probable cause if these headlines continue over into the weekend. I'll probably head back down to the bottom of this range towards $100,000 again. Maybe we'll swoop the level, come down towards around 99, and then reclaim it. Something that is possible. But it's very hard to say with these headlines. You never really know what's going to happen and what headline is going to come out. So essentially, Israel has just launched a surprise airstrike on Iran. They hit the military and nuclear sites around Tehran and Natanz, and reports say some top Iranian commanders were killed. It's not just a regional fight anymore. This could drag the whole Middle East into conflict. We also have the Israeli forces saying military operations against Iran is expected to last several days. And at the end of the operation, there'll be no more nuclear threat. So, like I was saying, this usually goes into the weekend, and so I don't think the price is going to completely reverse from here. I think we might have a couple more headlines come out before the week's end. Then we have JP Morgan on a potential Iran attack, saying an attack on Iran could spike oil prices to $120, driving U.S. CPI inflation to 5%. President Trump's top priority has been low energy prices for lower inflation. An attack driving oil prices to $120 will put rate hikes back on the table, which is the opposite of what we want. We don't want rate hikes, we want rate cuts. So rate hikes could be the opposite effect of what we want going on. Then at the same time, we also have breaking the internet. Massive outages report across platforms, including Spotify, Google Cloud, AWS, Cloudflare, Claude, YouTube, Gmail, and many, many more. And we also have Trump speaking on the Coinbase State of Crypto Summit saying this.
We also will be working to create clear and simple market frameworks that will allow America to dominate the future of crypto and Bitcoin.
And moving on, we have $11.6 trillion BlackRock says they'll be the biggest crypto asset manager by 2030. I don't doubt it, unfortunately. BlackRock currently holds over $75 billion in Bitcoin, ETH, and more. How much will they own in 2030? We also have BlackRock just received the highest ETH ETF inflow in just 4 months. BlackRock has about over $160 million in ETH. This is the highest daily flow since February 5th when they bought $274 million of ETH. And Lark Davis says Ethereum ETFs just saw $240.3 million in inflows yesterday, 18 straight days of inflows, with a total of $1.25 billion in inflows since May 16th. Institutional accumulation of ETH is accelerating. Now, ETH didn't go unscathed yesterday, and actually it was one of the ones hit harder than yesterday. People were saying even though, BlackRock and all these institutions were buying, ETH finally had the sell-off that we were expecting. And this is why we didn't want to buy. We didn't want to buy until we reclaimed this level, because essentially what happened is we wicked above here. So we took out all the stops here, and then we continued lower. So we really didn't want to get involved until we closed a daily candle above $2,800. And this is exactly why, because we took out all the stops here and then we headed lower. So I don't think this is over just yet, and I still will be waiting for this to come up here. But I think if we're at this price here, you can see there's a couple of levels here where money is just sitting. This is where stops are, and this is where money is. So I think at the very least, if we get more headlines over the weekend, we could still very well come down here, take out these stops around 2280, and then continue higher, something like that, before we head back up to this level, because there's just too much easy money right here for it to not be run. So I would be very surprised if we come back up here and never come back down and take out these stops here, because we're so close right now. So that's my prediction for ETH right now. Nothing to do just yet, like pretty much like everything else. Nothing to do until the headlines over the weekend end. And then moving on, we have Raoul saying big things are coming at Real Vision. We're excited to be building on Sui with the support of the incredibly talented teams at Mission Labs and the Sui Foundation. This is just the beginning. First, we're launching the new Real Vision platform in August, entirely reimagined Real Vision experience. And after that comes our Web3 build. The vision is to create digital on-chain identity, a tokenized loyalties ecosystem, embedded wallets, on-chain trade ideas, and research nodes, and eventually trade execution. This will evolve into a tokenized, crowdsourced asset management layer, enhanced by AI-driven user interfaces, and designed around communities that form naturally around assets, tickers, styles, regions, and more. That does not make us Sui maximalists or even Sui biased. We remain fiercely independent and are committed to covering everything that matters across macro, crypto, and traditional finance. But if you're going to build, you have to choose a chain. For our needs, Sui is clearly the best choice, both technically and strategically. And Rooster says Sui's DeFi suite continues to lead DeFi and Sui. So we have the Sui Lend protocol up 11.85%, Spring Sui up 5.43%, and a Steam up 20.32% in the last 7 days for DeFi TVL. Then we also have Bloomberg just dropped ETF approval odds for 2025. Sui, which just filed 1 month ago, already has 60% chance of approval. That's higher than Tron, close to ADA and DOT, and way ahead of other layer ones. So we can see our Sui's percent chance is around 60% from Canary Capital as an ETF odd in 2025. And then we have Sui has also flipped Solana again in daily stablecoin transfer volume. So Sui and Solana continue to be neck and neck, with Sui flipping Solana some days. And we also have Walrus saying Google Cloud, AWS, Cloudflare, Firebase all down, but Walrus still up, still fast, still decentralized. Blobhon, my friend. So it's like we were saying in the beginning of the video, a lot of the internet is down, and a lot of times, this is what we talk about: centralization versus decentralization. A lot of things are run on AWS, on Amazon Web Services, platform. So when one thing goes down, a lot of things go down on the internet, but not so much with Walrus and decentralization, which is exactly the reason for Walrus. So as all these things were down yesterday, as we had Spotify, Google, AWS, all these games, all these big services, Shopify, Gmail, YouTube, all these things, while these platforms are down, any platform that was built on Walrus or any decentralized cloud storage provider was still up yesterday. And then the Sei Network just hit 28 million active wallets in 380 days, 1.9 million new active wallets in the past 7 days, 330,000 per day, 2.2 million active wallets in the last week, daily active users ranging between 450 and 630,000. Gaming continues to lead user growth. TVL peaked at 550 million, now holding steady at 509 million, and Sei dropped 30% in May, but on-chain data remains strong. Will the price soon catch up to fundamentals? And Justin says Sei currently smashing all-time highs in usage, 730,000 active wallets in 24 hours, 7 million active wallets over 30 days, and 1.4 million daily non-Oracle transactions. Don't blink. We also have Cointelegraph saying Canary Capital has officially filed for S1 for a staked Sei ETF. The fund aims to track the price of Sei while offering extra yield to participation in the network's proof-of-stake mechanism. And Gohan says Sei's network TVL has been holding strong above 500 million for weeks. That mid-May dip barely lasted. Capital's sticky, confidence ain't flinching, might be quite timeline, but the numbers are loud. Say less, go claim more. I love the sayings, just the words they use. Anyway, so overall, Sei is pretty much in the same position as many other altcoins. We're hitting the bottom of the range here. We really don't want to break down below here. We want to hold strong at this level. If we break below 17.5, we're probably coming down to this last support level here around 14, which is not ideal. So this is the next level we're heading to if we break through this level. So it's not what we want to see, but it's possible if we get terrible headlines over the weekend. So we could come down here, retest the other side, and then head back down, and then hopefully come back and reclaim this level. And in which case, that's where you'd want to look to take a long, possibly once we've reclaimed this level after we break down. But likewise, if we just hold here over the weekend, if we just hold like this, you really want to wait for us to claim back above 20 cents for a new higher low, essentially, to change the market structure above here around 20 cents. So either we hold here and then you wait for a reclaim above 21 cents, or we break down, we come back, and then you wait for this reclaim, and then you can long here as well. So those are the two situations. I think it's most likely that we probably head down here if we get more bad news over the weekend and the rest of the market falls. So I think this situation is a lot more possible where we break down, reclaim, and then you can long here if you want to buy, say. And then moving on, we have Injective saying first on-chain stocks, now oil. Today, a new I asset launches on Injective, tokenized WTI. The Brent crude market cap is over 3.2 trillion, making oil one of the largest commodity markets in the world. Now it can be traded via Helix app with up to 25x leverage. We also have Mirza saying they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Injective usage is rising brick by brick. Will bring the entire world on chain. Lock up your INJ. And we also have Canary Capital registering for a staked INJ ETF in Delaware. At the same time, Helix on Injective is steadily climbing in perps volume. The DEX facilitated over $3 billion in May, and Helix is one of the only DEXs offers gas-free on-chain stock trading. So Helix is growing, and we're starting to see really cool use cases for different DEXs of real-world commodities, stocks, everything on-chain on Injective. Now, I will say for Injective's price, not looking the best here. We were waiting for it to reclaim this level here to change the market structure and break above $15. Unfortunately, like everything, it didn't pan out that way. And so we are just hovering around this level, and I don't expect this level of support to hold if the market continues to go down. This is the third tap at this level of support now, and it might turn into resistance. So if we break down over the weekend, we might come down here, underside retest, and then maybe come down to this next level of support around $8, which would not be ideal, but that is a possibility. We come down here, and then eventually if we reclaim this level, just like say, we want to wait for it to reclaim $11 again, and then you can long there, you can buy there, whatever you want to do. And that would be a better trade in my opinion. But likewise, if we just continue sideways, you want to wait for it to reclaim this level now at $14. And once it breaks back above there, we can start to head higher. And then lastly for today, we have TezDev 2025 returns July 3rd in Cairns. Now in its fourth year, TezDev has become a key gathering for anyone interested in Web3. It offers a packed agenda that spans gaming, digital art, DeFi, and more. With special guest appearances, TezDev promises insights and inspiration for both beginners and seasoned investors. The event also has interviews with Tezos ecosystem leaders. This year's theme, Catalyst, reflects the growing energy and innovation within the Tezos ecosystem. The program is designed to spotlight the latest breakthroughs, from developer talks and live demos to in-depth sessions on Tezos' creative and technical advancements. Attendees will get an update on the progress towards Tezos X, the next evolution of the protocol, with a keynote from co-founder Arthur Breitman. The schedule also features panels on real-world asset tokenization, hands-on gaming showcases, an immersive art exhibition highlighting over 30 artists. Notably, the launch of the Etherlink Hackathon, organized with Encode Club, invites developers to build on Tezos' next-generation Layer 2, further fueling innovation. So that is TezDev 2025 returning to Cannes on July 3rd. Now, that is the video for today, guys. We are starting to, close back above 105 here before New York Open. But I will say I don't expect too much. I don't expect this to just V-reverse straight back up like it did here, because I think the whole reason we sold off so heavily here is because we V-reversed up here so fast. So I don't expect this to happen again. And if it does happen again, I don't expect it to be very strong. It'll probably most likely sell off again. So what we could do is we could still come up here towards $106,000, $107,000, make a lower high here, and then still continue down lower. So nothing to be doing too much over the weekend. I think we still get headlines of different war, headlines over the weekend. So I don't think this is an area to necessarily be doing any high leverage plays, because I think the market will, I think it'll screw over longs. I think it'll screw over shorts, and everyone will be wiped out in this kind of range we got going on here. So that is the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on Monday.